Hello and welcome to Mindset Mondays with DTK. This is episode number 178 in an ongoing series of live broadcasts designed for folks who've figured out the truth that the best way to get better at doing what you do is to get better at being who you are at your core. So while I'm getting everything set up, if you will into the comments, let me know where you're signed in from. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and um, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So if you'll also let me know where you're connected in from, that would be great. I'm clearly I'm not in my home studio. I'm out in Colorado for the remainder of this month and the first of next week, the first of next month. I'm also on the tail end of a case of breakthrough COVID. Hopefully it's the tail end. Still trying to figure out where we got that from. All right, let's go to the comments for a second. And so earlier this week, I saw a workshop, and I know I'm going to pronounce the man's name wrong, Stefan Mumaw, um, who delivered this broadcast for a room full of creative folk. Majority of them were creative directors. And Stephen is the creative director and the director of narrative strategy for a firm called First Person. And one of the topics of the exercises he did throughout this workshop was innovation. And he gave this group the task of creating the ultimate desk and paired them off, and they went through an epic exercise, and they seemed to have absolutely had a blast. And they came up with a wide range of enhancements to the desk. They had desks that were completely encircling. They had integrated either coffee or water dispensers. They had multiple screens, an on-call masseuse. Somebody even talked about a waterfall. I'm surprised nobody came up with adding a toilet to it. But they had so many creative ideas, yet every single one incorporated some version or another of a large, flat surface. They all included with and all started from the idea of what a desk is now. They didn't innovate, they just improved. And in order to really innovate, we have to abandon what we know something to be and start free from the constraints of what is. It's the only way to create a new future. So the quote we're playing with today, and this reminded me about a quote from Baron Baptiste. Transformation comes not by adding things on, but by removing things that didn't, or as he says, what didn't belong in the first place. Transformation comes not by adding things on, but by removing what didn't belong in the first place. I've talked for years about the idea of the way Michelangelo sculpted. And when he was once asked how he carved such exquisite figures, his response was, I don't. I merely free them from the stone. I recently found how he described sculpting to his students. Michelangelo said, sculpting is a process whereby the artist releases a hidden figure from the block of stone in which it slumbered. Mm. So much of what slows us down or stands in our way or covers up our true, elegantly simple selves is merely waiting to be cleaved off. Man, there is so much freedom on the other side of that cleaving off. The thing to play with this week is, man, what are you ready to cleave off? What are you ready to remove? Transforming comes not by adding things on, but by removing what didn't belong in the first place. Somebody on LinkedIn said, is frame from the stone, creation and innovation is removing and taking what's important forward. Is freeing from the stone, creation and innovation is removing and taking what's important forward. I want to stick with the taking what's important forward because I think that's the key. Is removing what's inessential, removing what's inimportant, what's unimportant, and bringing only that which is important, that which is essential, that which is true forward. Everything else we carry is a waste of energy. Everything else that we carry, everything else that we choose to bring along is burning energy. I'm really getting clearer that the only four currencies that matter are time, effort, energy, and attention. And where we invest those currencies, where we invest our time, our effort, our energy, and our attention, we need to be incredibly judicious about. Those are things we can't waste because those are things that are exhaustible resources, and only we can replenish them. And by cleaving off that which didn't belong, it's less that we're carrying. It's less that gets our attention. It's less than requires our effort. It's less to which we give our time. And it's less energy burnt carrying it and holding it and bringing it forward. Sarah says her mom was an award-winning gardener. Her definition of weed was anything you didn't want in a particular spot. Not whether it was a real plant. Anything you didn't want is a weed. That idea rocked her world. And I get that. It's as Elaine and Sydney planted this garden outside, yeah, anything that isn't supposed to be where it is, even if it's a different type of plant, I can totally see your mother's point of view. Anything that doesn't belong in a particular spot. Some of the things that are called to be cleaved off aren't necessarily bad or inappropriate or wrong. They're just wrong for me, for right now, for where I am and who I am in my world. And I think that's the important thing about cleaving it off. It's being honest. What was it, Mark Silverman, his book, Only Tens, the subtitle is You Don't Have a Time Management Problem, You Have an Honesty Problem. I think that first step is being honest about what's true and what's you and what needs to be cleaved off. What's not important, what's not essential, what's not core. So while I'm quarantined in a condo in Colorado for another 7 of the 10 days that we're locked into this room, it's a lot of opportunity for me to get clear on what wants to be cleaved off, what wants to be removed. So I invite you to have the same conversation this week. And clearly, as as you said, Sarah, yes, I am dedicated. And yes, I will be here next Monday, and I look forward to seeing you as well. Same time, same social stream. And between now and next week, look at what it is that you want to remove and how much of your time, effort, energy, and attention that frees up for you. Until then, be well.